this time, I'd like to call the July the 17th, 2012 meeting of the Yukon City Council to order. If you would rise for the invocation by Councilman McCarron and remain standing for the flag salute, please.
Lord, bless us as we come together today to talk about the things of our wonderful city that we have here. May you bless us as we go forward in our decision process. May certainly you bless all of those who go in harm's way for us to live in the wonderful place that we do. Thank you for all of the gifts that you give to us and our community. In His holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Call the roll, please.
Alberts.
Here.
Smith.
Here.
Gerba. McCarron.
Here.
Opitz.
Here.
At this time, we'll conduct a public hearing to receive input from the public regarding the 2012 CDBG project. Is there anyone here that would like to discuss the this particular project with the council? Anyone present? Anyone present? Seeing none present, we'll proceed. At this point, we'd have the presentations and proclamations. Any presentations or proclamations?
None this evening.
Thank you. The next part of the agenda is the visitor section of the agenda. That is the opportunity for persons that would like to discuss a non-agenda item with the council. If they would come forward to the podium, state their name and their business, and address the council at this time. Do we have any visitors?
Hi, I'm Edie Bauer. I'm a volunteer with Pets and People Humane Society.
Ms. Bauer, I need your address also.
My address is 10901 Southwest 59th Street.
Go ahead.
And I'm here as speaking as a representative of our board of directors, which is behind us, of Pets and People, and we are simply here to say thank you to the city council, to the mayor, to the city manager, to the chief of police, for all of your support in the last week or two. And I think we had a great meeting last week, and I think the future looks great. And I think we can work together to make the Yukon Animal Shelter and Pets and People an even better place. And we just want to say thank you for all your support.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Any other visitors? Any other visitors that would like to address the council about a non-agenda item? For the city that can't see, there's probably 20 people or more that are here from Pets and People, and thank you very much for your concern. We, in our meeting before the council, just discussed a little bit of information that you all had been working together. The council was brought up to speed. We're happy to hear that things are working. And I want you all in the community to know that Yukon and Pets and People will continue to have a relationship, that Pets and People is a vital part of our community, and that the city's interested in working with Pets and People and moving forward. And we recognize the service, and that's the report that I received. And Edie, thank you all for coming. Cindy, thank you all. Thank you all for having me. I spent about 3 hours down there, and if everyone were as passionate about their job as you all are, and the volunteers and Cindy, what a great place we live in. But I do challenge you, this is a great community, and there's a lot of you all that are in this community involved in other things. And there might have been a speed bump over this issue, but speed bump's behind us, and we're going to go forward. We're going to resolve it, and you all are going to continue to do a great job on our community, and the city's going to be a part of it. So thank you for coming here with a positive attitude. We appreciate that. Thank you for the board for coming here and being such a vital part of our community. We respect what you do, and we recognize that. Thank you all very much. Thank you. Now, last shot. If anyone wants to say anything else, it's the visitor section.
J.A. Looper, 1161 Elk Street. I want to address the council on a problem we're having with feral cats.
Okay.
Up in the business area where my place of business is at 732 Cedar. Now, this has been going on for about 4.5 months, and it took us a little while to realize what was going on. And but there's been some people, not these people back here, I might add, that have been catching some of these cats, having them spayed and neutered, and re-releasing them into the area and in feeding them, putting out copious quantities of food for cats. Well, this takes care of the cats, also attracts the skunks and the rats from north up there on Cali Street, where 7th would go through if it went through there in that swampy area. And we have had skunks, possums, and rats, and some days in the late evening, late afternoon, there would be 10 to 14 cats gathering over here to the Sonic, waiting on their food to be brought to them. And it just got to be quite a problem for the businessmen in the area. And we tried to get the people to stop feeding the cats. And when the skunk showed up, I went to the animal control people to get a skunk catcher, but it was loaned out and they couldn't get one right away, couldn't bring one to me. About 3 weeks went on past and still didn't get any kind of catcher to alleviate the problem. So we went over to the Tractor Supply and bought us a couple of live catchers ourselves. And the first thing we caught was a skunk. Well, I went to the police department to see what we could do about stopping the food being put out for these cats, and there seems to be no city ordinance governing this. People putting food out for cats, feral cats, on somebody else's property. And we have caught 7 cats, 2 skunks, and 2 possums. 2 of the 7 cats were the cats that these ladies had neutered and spayed, and they clipped the top of the left ear. We let this cat go twice. And then there's another little black cat that's got a collar and tags on that's somebody's pet, and we release it every time it gets caught. He's just running with the wrong company. But the feral cats, we call the city, and they come and get them, take them up to the city compound. They aren't any kind of cat that these people back here can do anything with. They're absolutely wild cats. And I don't know what they do with them. That's their problem. And then the skunks and the possums, we call them, and they come and get them also. But I've talked to Councilman McCarron about this problem, and he's done quite a bit of research on it. Other municipalities around the country as to what they're doing about the feral cat problem. And the spay and neuter is not the answer to the problem. It doesn't cut down the population. But the feeding of the cats has finally come to a stop. They agreed to quit feeding the cats. But we were going out and with a bucket and taking their cat food that they were dumping out and putting it in a bucket and then putting it in our traps to catch the feral cats. So they finally got the idea that, but the Sonic had told them to quit feeding them there, and they finally did. This is not just a problem in our area, it's in a couple other places around town. And we need the city council to look into some kind of ordinance so that these people don't come around on other people's property and feed these cats. If they want cats, go to Pets and People, adopt a couple of cats and take them home. But don't bring the feral cats and the skunks and the possums in our area. My granddaughter is at our shop.
Mr. Luke, I didn't tell you, but we have a 3-minute limit.
Okay, I'm sorry.
You've exceeded
Okay.
it. And you're right, Mr. McCarron, he is working on it. He's
Right.
discussed it with the city manager, and I know that we're trying to address the problem. Even the people at Pets and People do have some ideas about how to manage that, and I think
Right.
that that's even a discussion that's gone on with the city.
Okay.
So, and they are 2 separate things.
Correct.
So we're working with Pets and People with that situation,
Right.
but the feral cat issue is another issue that the city council is addressing. Mr. McCarron is doing an excellent
Okay.
job, shared some information with the council, and we will address that and get back with you on that as well.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, important thing to realize here is that it's not just cats, that the feral population encompasses a large number of different kinds of animals, and some of them are truly get to be a problem, so.
Well, one more thing too, the spay and neuter, though I think it's actually a pretty good idea, the spay, neuter, and release, that's not something that would solve a feral problem overnight, because until the lifespan of that spayed pet expires, they're still there. They're still there, and they're still feeding out of the dumpsters, or if people are are putting food out, they're still gonna be feeding on it. So not to say something like that wouldn't work, but it certainly would take an amount of time to make that happen.
Okay, we need to limit our comments. Yes, ma'am.
I'm Ann Zacher. I live on Vicky Drive, 309
Could you
Vicky
pull the
Drive.
mic down so we can?
Okay. I have to register my disapproval of the same thing. Feral cats have ruined so much stuff on my property, and other people in my area are deliberately, I don't know how, I don't know if it's okay or not, but they're feeding them where I've watched 12 cats of a day go over there and eat, but they're going all over everybody else's property. They do property damage. They get on cars. They scratch them. They leave their urine and feces everywhere, which completely kills my grass because it's fescue. And it's an ongoing thing. I've never seen it this bad in the last 8 years. And I just can't believe that neutering them is enough at this particular time. It's like we have a snowball effect of the last few years, and I'm extremely concerned that you're going to help us out.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello, I'm Dawn Moeller, and I'm actually here in support of Pets and People, but
What's
Through-
your address, ma'am?
1083 Hilltop Mansion, Yukon, Oklahoma. I've lived here since 1990.
Glad to have you.
Thank you. In support of Pets and People, a couple other things, a little bit of light had been shed on my community and keeping things looking nice and clean and pristine. I'm not sure of the ordinance because I haven't done the research. I work in Oklahoma City at the Waterford Properties, so when I go to work every day, I'm aware of the tidiness of commercial businesses' properties. And I notice when new buildings go in, new gas stations, that there seems to be some type of an ordinance where there has to be a certain shrub, certain trees, some type of a landscape ordinance. My concern is, since I've lived here, the Garth Brooks Boulevard area where new people come to look to our community to live in, when they exit off of Garth Brooks Boulevard and they turn south on the right-hand side, which is the east side across the street from Walmart, which is enormous, which takes up about 6 properties, that I have never seen tidy facilities of the Hallmark shop or the Chinese restaurant, or I think maybe even the Waffle House. I would have to take photographs, but I do not know if we have an ordinance. I do know that if I came down that street today, 20 years later, that I would not purchase a home in Yukon. And so it greatly concerns me, and on a daily basis as I drive into the city and then come back into Yukon, it distresses me. So again, I'm going to do the research to see if there's a city ordinance, but I think when some of the establishments have been there for over 2 decades, that you would think they might scratch their heads and say, our property looks pretty bad. Maybe we want to get an edger and maybe put some fescue in. And that's just what I wanted to comment on.
Thank you. I know there is an ordinance, it was passed a few years back on new construction for commercial property. There are requirements with the existing property.
That's my concern, is the existing.
That's the problem, that there's not a requirement for existing property.
It might be something that you look into, because I am not the only person that has comments about the way our city looks on our main drag.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. Sure.
My name is Dallas Richardson. I live at 113 Chuck Hall Place, which may not, I have Yukon mailing address, but may not be.
Who do you pay your water bill to?
Oklahoma City.
You live in Oklahoma City.
Yeah. May I address?
Brief comments.
Sure. I am one of the feeders of the feral cats, and I wanted to somewhat address what the gentleman was saying earlier about.
Okay, this is a comment. I don't mean to interrupt you, but it's not a debate over feral cats, and that's the one thing that I don't want to get off into, whether it's the right thing to do or not the right thing to do. The council's in the process of gathering information. Maybe if you want to provide that and share that with Mr. McCarron, but I'm glad to give you 30 seconds or so, but I don't want to, we're not going to have a debate over whether it's right or wrong to feed feral cats, because I can't moderate that. Someone's going to be mad.
Sure.
Okay, so we'll just stop it right now. So you've got about 30 seconds, sir.
Okay, great. Well, I guess a few things that I was going to ask about. As far as the other animals other than cats, I think that, I would sure hope that the city, of course, not paying, I guess, city taxes, other than any sales tax, I may not have a leg to stand on. But it sure seems like we ought to be able to help take care of the skunks and so forth. As far as the cats are concerned, I think anybody who owns cats realizes that they're born with the natural ability and desire to cover up any of their feces and urine, and they don't just go urinate on things just for the heck of it. Now, I will say that if it's time for them to mate, that they sometimes spray places.
Sir, I've given you twice your allotted time, and I
okay.
don't.
Thank you.
I appreciate your comments, but again, we're not gonna have a debate tonight. Anyone else have something that they would like to share with the council that we've not discussed? Again, I really appreciate the people from Pets and People coming, and I understand the feral cat problem is an issue, and we're not gonna weave those two together. We're doing really great things, and Pets and People, we're moving forward on that issue. The feral cat issue is a whole nother issue that we're gonna take up and we're gonna work on. Again, I wanna compliment Pets and People on what they've done. I want you all to leave here on a positive note. We appreciate what you've done. Thank you very much. We look forward to continuing to work with you. The issue on the feral cats, we're gonna work on that as well. So I don't know much about that. I went down to Pets and People, Mr. McCarron, he's the resident expert on feral cats.
Well, probably not expert, but
We will be.
done some research, and if you're here at the end tonight, I'll just share a few thoughts with you, and we can talk about it. Okay.
Right. And we're having a meeting, so I'm not being dismissive. As far as a discussion, that's another time, and we're happy to have that. So, seeing no other visitors at this time, we'll move forward with the business. At this time, we'll recess as the Yukon City Council and reconvene as the Yukon Municipal Authority. The first item on the agenda is 1A, the YMA consent docket. This item is placed on the agenda so the Yukon Municipal Authority, by unanimous consent, can designate those routine items they wish to be approved by one motion. If an item does not meet with the approval of all authority members, that item will be heard in regular order. The city manager recommends a motion to approve A, the minutes of the regular meeting of July the 2nd, 2012, and B, the minutes of the special meeting of July the 6th, 2012. C, the payment of material claims in the amount of $5,349.34. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second?
Discussion? Discussion? Call the roll, please.
McCarron,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Alberts.
Yes.
Opitz.
Yes.
At this time, we'll adjourn as YMA and reconvene as the Yukon City Council. The first item is item 1, and that's the consent docket. This item is placed on the agenda so the Yukon City Council, by unanimous consent, can designate those routine items that wish to be approved by one motion. If an item does not meet with the approval of all council members, that item will be heard in regular order. The city manager recommends a motion that will approve A, the minutes of the regular meeting of July the 2nd, 2012, B, the payment of material claims in the amount of $533,018.79, C, the renewal of the existing interlocal agreement, the interlocal governmental cooperative agreement with the City of Piedmont, providing use of the Yukon Jail for the term of July 1, 2012 through June 30th, 2013, for a rate of $40 per day per prisoner. D, the renewal of the existing interlocal agreement, governmental cooperation agreement with the City of Piedmont, providing after-hours emergency dispatch services for the term of July 1, 2012 through June the 30th, 2013, at the rate of $3,333.33 per month. E, a non-terminable use agreement with the City of Piedmont, granting computer access to the Oklahoma law enforcement telecommunications system. F, the renewal of the existing Canadian County 4-H agreement for the term of July 1, 2012 through June the 30th, 2013, at the cost of $2,500. G, the renewal of the existing Sister Cities International Agreement for the term of July 1, 2012 through June the 30th, 2013 at the cost of $360. H, an agreement for the services with Old Central Cultural Council, Inc., a nonprofit corporation, DBA the Arts and Humanities Council, Yukon, for the term of July 1, 2012 through June 30th, 2013 at the cost of $2,000. I, a letter of support for the 2012 National Park Service Rivers, Trails, and Conservation Assistance proposal submission. J, setting the date for the next regular council meeting for August the 7th, 2012, 7 p.m. The council chambers in the Centennial Building, 12 South 5th, Yukon, Oklahoma. Sorry. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Well, just one issue down here on the H that had to do with the Arts and Humanities Council. I know that we've put money in to that previously, and when they originally submitted their budget for this, I noticed that's not part of their budgeting process, and I guess, or their grant with the budget material that was submitted. I don't know how they do that, or they're just required to submit a budget.
Submit a budget, and since we had not approved it, they did not feel comfortable in going ahead until we had voted on it. We could ask for a revised budget at this time now that we're considering approval of their contribution.
Okay, well, but, yeah, my question is next year, when we're approving those kinds of budgets, I guess I'd like to see that as a part of the budgeting process itself, or is that not? Am I missing something here? That's what I'm...
Well, you would see it as revenue received at that time, but in a proposed budget upcoming until they have...
Until it's approved.
Right.
But then we can request a
revised
budget later.
Right.
All right, I think I would like to see that, just to have a definitive way of seeing where it's going. That's, and the, notice we have a renewal for the 4-H agreement in here as well. And is that, that's a pretty normal thing we've been doing for quite a while, so I'm kind of new on the,
Right.
at this, and I know there's a lot of things been going on with 4-H and everything over with the school board. Is this consistent with all of that, or?
Actually, the school board has nothing to do with 4-H.
Oh, they don't?
This
Okay.
the FFA program, vocational agriculture.
Yeah, okay, I'll back my question out then.
Any other discussion? I've got a second.
Yes.
Okay, call the roll, please.
Opitz.
Yes.
Alberts.
Yes.
McCarron.
Yes,
Smith.
Yes.
Any reports of boards, commissions, or city officials this evening?
Not this evening, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. That was item 2. Item 3 is consider approving the Citizens Participation Plan for the 2012 Community Development Block Grant application. Do I have a motion?
so moved.
Second.
Discussion? Discussion? Call the roll, please.
Alberts.
Yes.
Opitz.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
McCarron.
Yes,
Next item is 4, consider approving the Statement of Needs for the 2012 Community Development Block Grant application. Do I have a motion?
so moved.
Second.
Discussion? Discussion? Call the roll, please.
McCarron.
Yes,
Smith.
Yes.
Alberts.
Yes.
Opitz.
Yes.
Next item is 5, consider approving Resolution 2012-6, a resolution allocating $66,765 as a match for the Community Development Block Grant of $66,665 for the installation or repair of infrastructure and authorizing execution of documents necessary for the transaction. Do I have
so
So moved.
moved.
a
Second.
second? Thank you. Discussion? Discussion? Call the roll, please.
Opitz.
Yes.
Alberts.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
McCarron.
Yes,
The next item is 6. The next item is 6, consider approving Resolution 2012-7, a resolution accepting the 2012 CDBG application with the Oklahoma Department of Commerce and accepting matching funds for $64,567 for the Small Cities Community Development Block Grant Program. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve?
second.
Discussion? Discussion? Call the roll, please.
Smith.
Yes.
Alberts.
Yes.
Opitz.
Yes.
McCarron.
Yes,
The last item the next item, is 7, consider approving expenditure of funds in the amount of $75,264 for the purchase of budgeted fitness equipment for the new fire station through a financing arrangement with HIL Financial paid from capital improvement funds. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
second.
Discussion? Discussion? Call the roll, please.
Alberts.
Yes.
McCarron.
Yes,
Smith.
Yes.
Opitz.
Yes.
Next item is the city manager's report, information only.
Really not too much this evening. I do want to talk about sales tax. May collections, which The May collections are always the first collection period of our new fiscal year. We're up by 13.18% for the month. I think it important to note that the last year we started out in the same manner and ended up with a total growth of about 6%. And I have Michael and I always have a milkshake bet that we make on where sales tax is going to end up, and he always sticks to our budget projection, which this year is 4.5% growth. I tend to think we're going to do a little better than that, but it's always fun at staff meeting to talk about where we're going, since I've beaten him for the last 2 years in a row. The other thing that I want to talk about is use tax. If you all remember, during the last year, we had 2 extraordinary months occur as it relates to use tax. Use tax is really a sales tax paid in lieu, and it is available to retailers on a variety of sales that may or may not be subject to regular sales tax. But if you'll remember, we at one month had $290,000 collected in one sale and got a letter from the tax commission. So we took that money and reserved it for a 3-year period in case that there is a claim made against that particular account and that transaction. But we also had another extraordinary month where we received over $250,000 and no tax letter came in on that. Our total for use tax increase last year, and it's not in the total scheme of things all that much money, but it was a 61.2% increase over the previous year, year to date. Our first month of collection of use tax this year is a increase of 14.7%. And we have high hopes, considering that many of the companies that have decided to locate particularly west of town and also that are coming within our city limits have chosen to make this their point of sale, which will increase the use tax quite a little bit. It's also a number we don't budget. We do not count. We appreciate it. We're glad to have it, but it is not made as a part of our normal budgeting process as far as revenue is concerned. The last thing, you might notice that Councilman Gerba is not with us this evening. Nick, as you know, retired from the Air Force several months ago, and he has accepted a position, and he's at his first job-related function this evening. But he did send me an email with a couple of things that he wanted to note as far as things going on in our community. First of all, Mayor, he wanted me to congratulate you on being named or nominated as one of the top 100 trial attorneys in the United States. I think that's quite an honor and most deserving. The other thing he wanted to do was to thank everybody in all the parts of city government concerning the July the 4th activities and all the work that the city staff and everybody went to make it a really remarkable event. So I have delivered his message for the evening.
Thank you, sir. Any new business? Item 9. No new business?
None tonight.
Council discussion. Councilman McCarron.
Well, I think it was a pretty good evening. Certainly we had an opportunity to do some good things with the Pets and People organization. We're looking forward to coming up with some solutions to our feral problems in the area that will work out hopefully for everyone. As a short comment, the Freedom Fest I thought was exceptional. Certainly our city manager and his staff and everything did a really outstanding job. I felt like it was a lot of fun, and I certainly enjoyed myself a lot. I want to express thanks to Ann, who came up here and spoke this evening. I think she was pretty nervous about doing that, but I encouraged her to do so, and I'm also going to say thank you to J.A. Looper and his son Brent, who have been nice enough to actually keep track of things and come up and give a good presentation tonight, so that people start to realize how important taking care of our animal population in Yukon, whether it's pets and people or it's a feral issue or any other issue for that matter. So I appreciate any of the folks that are willing to take their time and step up to the podium, because it's not always a lot of fun to do that. And of course, I also, I'm going to say, we all need to give John a round of applause for his 100. I want to know who the other 99 are.
Well, and I think it's Oklahoma. It's not the world or anything. It's Oklahoma. So, but I do appreciate the thank you. Thank you very much.
Anyway, and I do want to thank all of the people who did come and show up this evening. I think it was important to come and have a good open discussion. And of course, we're here twice a month. So anytime someone feels like they have that need, we really want to encourage them to come up and say what's on their mind. Anyway, that's all for me.
Thank you, Mr. Opitz.
I'd also like to ditto what Mike said there. I'd like to thank all the visitors for coming and sharing their concerns and their thoughts about our city and the way it looks, because we care. We love our city and we care how it looks, and we also care about pets and people. And you saw them here tonight, and I want to thank them for coming. And you see the talks going on with the city and that, so you can bank on good things coming out of that. And so I'm really excited about that. And, besides being the top attorney around here, I don't know anything else to say.
Mr. Smith, can we skip the, go ahead.
No, I'm just curious if Mike would agree with that or not.
I don't think John and I have ever had anything against each other, have we?
I don't think so. I'm afraid. I just say no.
Well, regarding the pet situation down at the shelter, I'm going to pose a challenge to the citizens of Yukon. Kind of two phase challenge. One is, if you have a pet, don't quit on your pet. A lot of the animals down there, I mean, all the animals down there, I would say, with the exception of maybe a feral that's in there or two, had an owner that quit on them, or they wouldn't be there. So if you have pets, love your pet, keep your pet. They don't live forever, so just take care of them. Don't offload them down at the shelter. That's the wrong thing to do. The other side of that is, if you're considering a pet, you need to go down there and you need to walk through. I will guarantee you that you'll walk through and one of those dogs or one of those cats going to look up at you and you're going to go, hey, that's the one that I've been looking for. So take the time, go down there, and give them the first opportunity to provide you with your next pet. That's a good place to go. Adopt them. We have to have that pet population alleviated before we can really, in my opinion, move ahead to fix that situation down there. So keep your pets, keep them well. If you don't have one, you'd like one, take a trip down there and adopt one. That's all.
I've got a couple things. First of all, the Spirit Run is in August, and I want to start reminding people about that. I know it's hot. It's the time of the summer. It's difficult to get out and run and exercise, but the Spirit Run is, I think, the third weekend in August. It's a 5K. The money goes to support the Spirit League and help with the park and those type of things. It's a very worthwhile project and opportunity to exercise and get out and start walking. I see people walking and running, but come and run, and we'll have a great race. And I'll get Jan's not here. No, she's not behind the pole. I think it's the third Saturday in August. I want to say thanks also about the 4th of July. We were there my son and I won the 3-legged race. I was kind of creative. I picked him up and I carried him, but our legs were tied together, so they thought that was we got a good laugh, but we got the blue ribbon. So he was he helped me pick the red Mustang to win the car show. You get a mayor's choice, and that was fun. That was fun, and those people that put on the car show do a really great job. The gentleman, his name evades me, that runs that every year, does an excellent job. Make sure that everyone gets a trophy. all types of prizes and stuff. He had a band there this year, and they sang, and they did an excellent job. Bouncies in the morning. People riding skateboards, jumping bikes. It just goes on, and then into the evening to the fire show. Miss Oklahoma was here. It's just a great thank you for everyone, the community, the donors, the employees, and everything. Thank you for what you do to make our community look good. And then that leads me. I agree with Mike. Thank you so much for coming tonight. I love it when I look out there and see a lot of people in the visitor section. They want to talk. That's what makes government work. I mean, we're here and we're elected, and we sit here and we do what we think is the best thing to do. And the only way that we might do something different or something that you might want us to do is if we hear from you. There might be an idea that you have that we've never thought of. We look at it from our perspective with our backgrounds, and we develop an opinion. But your opinion matters, and thank you for coming and talking tonight about the way that Yukon looks. I agree with you. I was part of the one that said we need an ordinance that requires trees. And so we plant trees with our new businesses and things like that. I agree with you. But I want to say thank you for coming and talking. It helps us. It helps our jobs, and we want to do a good job. We're glad to argue and discuss and debate and make a decision. And if you don't come here, we might overlook your point of view. And your point of view may very well be the best decision that this council could make, but we'll never know about it if you don't have the courage to come down here and talk. And I understand it's a little intimidating, but we're intimidated every day when we come. I stutter and stammer through this whole thing, but I'm not going to quit. I know these people up here, their ears bleed, their eyes water. I know it's terrible to have to listen, and I appreciate it for listening for so long, and I'll shut up now, but thank you all so much for coming tonight. Nothing else before the council. We stand adjourned.